Okay, so it's the next game of today. It's between the Hungarian Aron Pasti. Wow, this camera is horrible. And the Slovak Dominik Petrek in what is it, Group A?
It is Group A. We had a very exciting match from Group D.
Yeah.
That just finished with Martyna Starosta beating Anton Frank narrowly, we should say. But in the end, she did manage to win.
Really dramatic, but yeah.
These games.
All right, I sent a challenge. Good luck.
But I think
that's-
Vladimir joined again.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
It's for someone at least.
Yeah. Anyway. So they should start right now. If
They
you
should
just refresh.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So they've still not started. I suppose it is the right account, right?
I mean, yeah, this is Pereska. This is his account, and it's online as well. So
Yeah, so it should be any second now. But they're yet to start.
I do wonder why Dominic knew his account.
Are you gonna challenge me?
Wait.
Sorry, it's saying that I cannot challenge you.
What the heck? What's your username? Type on this
Yeah,
guy.
Okay, yeah, so they are trying to communicate right now, I
change
guess.
titled players if I'm on a new account.
Oh, shit.
Okay, hang on. Could you change me? I'm gonna paste the username.
I wonder,
at the
I
back,
guess.
I
The
guess.
stream can hear
in
them,
the-
but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's on Discord, Champions League chat.
Yeah. Hang on.
Well, this is interesting.
Probably.
Alright.
Because a lot of people spam titled players with changes. There you go.
What the heck? That's so long.
It's a long username,
Alright,
but yeah.
controversy. Alright, good luck. I will challenge. 1 minute, okay?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Good
luck as well.
Yeah, so that was the players.
Alright, so have they started playing it? Nope.
No, but they will start. I hope they will be quiet during the games. Otherwise, that would be a bit weird. But it would be.
They're gonna start trash talking or something, I don't
It
know.
would definitely be entertaining.
Yeah.
So that's.
And by the way, oh, now they're playing. By the way, Dominic will not have a camera on because he's gotten some, I'm not sure, some facial surgery or something, and it hurts apparently.
Right, he's undergone surgery, so understandably he didn't want to use the camera right after that when the surgery was still affecting him. Anyways, the games have started and we should flip the board.
Yep.
Like that. Aron Pasti is playing with the white pieces. And he's chosen the French.
No, this is Dominic.
No, I'm just kidding. Aaron has not chosen the French.
Didn't Martina play this once during the real time? I saw a game between her and Jakob there. It was very similar.
I do not know that. But I don't know, it looks depressing for black. Now you're probably supposed to play King F8 already.
I do think this is theory though, so yeah. King F8.
But somewhat depressing. Like, I mean, I know that you're supposed to be able to somehow defend because you go King F8 and then you're saying that I'm gonna play Bishop A6. I'm just gonna check the audio. The audio works. You're supposed to play Bishop A6. You're supposed to trade light square bishops, and then you can somehow play, even though your king is somewhat weirdly.
He's thinking a lot though. I mean, isn't this supposed to be theoretical? Oh wait, maybe you're supposed to take on c3 and then. Oh,
This is an interesting move, yeah. Protecting c3 so that you can, and also obviously introducing the more direct rook g3. But
I do not understand why people are like not afraid to play this as back. I mean,
yeah, I mean this looks.
I don't understand it,
This looks like.
especially in the blitz, you know.
This looks really bad. You have to go knight f5, I presume. Like what else? Queen e6 is a massive threat. Okay, he plays queen d7.
I would be scared like rook f7 stuff. Not now exactly, but you know.
But I mean, the thing is, there's just no upside. Like
Yeah.
bishop d2 castles and you have nothing. And white is maybe checkmating you. So knight.
Wait, what would happen if you played? I don't know. Okay.
I would go bishop d2 now, just breaking that pin. He goes king f1, breaking the pin in that way, and c5.
That makes sense.
And now you gotta check, can I at any point... He's trying to trap this bishop, that's really clever actually. Wow.
Okay.
C3 is a huge threat. And if you take this, you kind of allow this knight to come into the game.
This is not looking too good for black, I don't think.
So I guess you just get to play like knight c6 and hope that your bishop survives on a5.
And hope your king survives and just hope you survive, you know?
Yeah, this is not ideal, for sure. But we'll see. We'll see if he can... if Dominik can come up with something here. He plays knight f5. That's like... this is your best piece. And after c3, bishop has to go here. I would just go knight e3 like he has done. And he's gonna trade away the only defending black piece. After which this king is really naked. And...
I mean, suddenly you're kind of threatening these like rook g3 ideas, and if you go rook j8, you can take an h6, and I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that, and this bishop on a5 is helpless. Now you've lied, knight takes.
Wait, what?
f5.
Why would? Surely that's just winning, no? Or missing?
I mean, he's gonna argue that he can just get his pieces out if you do that.
Yeah.
Somehow.
But I guess if knight
He's
takes a5,
countering
it takes on
CD4.
f5, rook takes.
Knight c6.
But then you're just upon a down after you take on d4,
Maybe
so you have to
take on c3 first.
take on c3. Right?
Then you could introduce this bishop here. Yeah, it's... I mean, probably he's considering... But also another thing, you gotta watch out for this bishop, like, some point before might just drop the bishop. Although now, obviously, it hangs on e3, so you could take here.
I mean, yeah, for example, if knight takes f5, e takes f5, rook takes f5, knight c6, then maybe b4 is a possibility, I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it takes on f5, rook takes. So you gotta take on c3. But b4 is possible there as well, because the queen is...
But then you can bishop takes b4, right?
Because that would be a check.
Oh.
And he plays this. And the bishop is lost.
Wow.
And also,
Knight
like,
c6.
one thing you would like to do is this, and then knight e7, but rook takes f7.
Oh, damn.
So...
Wow.
Actually, this was a fantastic game from
Fantastic,
Pasti. Yeah.
wow.
Really, really setting the tone here. So d4 is... Yeah, okay, actually, that is a very interesting move, because that one is going for...
Really? Is it that dangerous, though?
I would
just take on a5.
Yeah, I would just take on d4
Yeah,
and bishop b4 and e6.
Okay, yeah,
And you can resign. But if you take on a5, I go d3.
Take on a c3. d2, bishop takes, and I was thinking, like, sure, there has to be some sort of win.
There was
Oh, bishop a3 is just
so that
losing.
Okay, yeah, everything wins here. But I like knight takes d4. It somehow feels pragmatic, just to say, I don't care about material. I just want to mate you. But
okay, yeah.
Okay, he does play knight takes d4 and e6.
Okay, is it time to resign now? Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah, don't play the French.
I mean, you did play the French for a long time, and I guess
so.
I
should know.
You should know.
I should know. Yeah, don't play the French. That's the.
Wow, the princess won. Okay, so the next game we don't have to flip.
Right. So let's hope for Dominik's sake that he doesn't lose into.
Dominik is a Callan player, right? I've played this lane many times against Aron.
Right. We saw Dominik he played against John once already, and he won with a crushing victory, if I remember correctly, with like 4.5 or something.
Didn't Aron play this in the World Cup? I don't remember who against, but
World Cup.
The World Youth Championship.
Ah, right.
Well, this didn't. Yeah, this actually happened, I think. And he got like a slightly worse position from the opening, but he eventually drew. But yeah.
Yeah, I do not know.
I was watching the game live, so it's just... And I remember he was like talking with me how he had prepared this or something, I'm not sure. But now this seems to be out of preparation.
I mean, I kind of don't dislike white.
No.
Knight can come and e4. Knight goes indeed to e5, and you probably don't take that. You should definitely not take that.
Right.
You should probably do something like bishop b7 or perhaps queen d6.
Yeah.
But
why you can maybe maneuver to like e7 and try to...
Yeah, that also makes sense. But if you do that, then you gotta just accept that knight is really strong. And if you do play bishop b7, example, white will play f4, and then he can maybe look at swinging a queen over here and bring the rook, and suddenly the attack is pretty dangerous. So definitely white has some prospects. That being said, black has, of course, advanced already on the queen side, and he's gonna look to start some play over there. Obviously, since this pawn chain is pointing towards it, and he plays your move, knight to e7.
I think the idea is also maybe to go bishop f5 and try to trade off this attacking bishop on c2.
That's a good idea, because after f4, bishop f5, all this attack I was talking about towards h7 is kind of non-existent.
Yeah, and so there are quite a lot of holes in white's position.
So maybe you should consider f3 instead in order to enable e4.
What happens if, let's say, f3, bishop f5, can you take on d5, do you think?
He does play f3. Bishop f5 now is just not I just doubt that, because he just
you can just go e4 immediately.
Yeah, I do think, however, that you could consider now playing maybe knight g6.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's no Ren need, because you don't Ren e5 anyways. So how do I like this f3 move, because e4 is an idea. You're gonna bring this rook, you're gonna bring the queen somehow. It's not easy to be black here, and Aron has spent a bunch of time.
Okay, yeah.
He spent a bunch of time. Okay, so what will happen here even? Like rook e8, maybe? Yeah. Try to pressure. What I wanted to do was I wanted to go here, and I wanted to force f4, and then I wanted to play bishop f5, but there are several problems with that plan.
Okay, but I mean, surely he has to play quickly, so maybe he can go like... He wants to go b5, b4, but if you play b5 immediately, you can probably just take on b5.
Also, this is another plan, which is pretty typical, building like this boat. Or bathtub, maybe it's called. I don't know. It's called something like that, like bathtub structure. I like this idea, because you kind of want to challenge that knight, and now you're also preparing to maybe take this. So what do you do now? You could maybe bring...
do not make a move.
You could maybe bring this rook. You could maybe push e4. Yeah, I don't know. Queen f2. It's I like white. I have to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But knight e7 was... I think there was a risk that he could come under quite serious pressure. Knight e7 was a necessary move.
I mean, okay, yeah. So...
I would go here.
Yeah, rook d1 makes sense. Maybe push him for e4.
Yeah, and also I would like to just enable some pressure on d5 once he takes. But he's thinking.
They are thinking a lot. I mean,
yeah, they're playing. They want to play.
Are kicking in.
Yeah, and they want to play accurately. Obviously, two strong players. He plays this f4, and now you could go back, but then f5, and you kind of stop that bishop f5 idea. Another idea is to play f6. But you should remember that probably the knight goes back, and then there is a weakness on h7.
Of course.
Yeah.
What happens if you just take on f5? e5? Are you gonna take with the d pawn? I guess.
I think he's gonna take with f pawn, just stopping bishop f5, and then he's gonna just build an attack here.
That's not very nice.
Yeah, I think taking here is not a good idea. He plays f6, and I would
f6. I like that. Yeah, knight f3, I guess. But then even then, like. You can keep the pawn on f6, and there's no knight e5.
Yeah, I guess the problem is there's some weakness here. If you could bring a rook, say to e1, and then you bring this here, there can start to appear some issues. He does play knight f3, because obviously exchanging this was not a good idea, and I like this move as well, because you want this bishop f5 move. So now maybe you should...
Very interesting maneuvering. We've got...
I think now
knight e6, knight e7, and knight f6.
I think you should. Yeah, I think you should break with e4 now. Say like he's underdeveloped. I should take advantage. Another move is knight h4. Just trying to.
But what happens on? Okay, so if you play e4 now, is that a bit premature? Maybe.
The problem with e4 is like okay, he plays e4. I mean, the good thing about it is that you should play it, if you can get this one.
Yeah.
But the problem is like you do have some weaknesses.
Yeah.
Now the question is, does d5 work or not? He plays d5, obviously, because they're running low on time. Bishop takes e4 should be played. Rook takes e4 and knight a5. But then d6, that looks
dangerous.
And with 13 seconds, it looks like Dominik is heading towards maybe equalizing.
Yeah.
He definitely has.
Maybe you can go knight b4 as well now.
He does.
And then go to knight d3.
But you can take this and bring the rook back.
Ooh.
He does that.
You cannot take on d5.
Taking this one looks...
I mean, then rook d4 just... I think that's losing.
He plays a5 instead, but now d6.
Yeah. This does not look...
Or a3 even.
Yeah.
Because he plays d6. Knight f5. Now you could go a3 just.
Yeah, a3 and knight c6 is queen d5.
And if you take rook d4, so he takes with the queen, but now
b4 is just hanging.
Yeah, and but knight e3.
Oh, whoa! I did not see that. Okay, wow.
I think neither did Dominik.
Wow.
And the problem for white now is that he will get two pieces for the rook, but in the endgame. And I think he should have taken with the knight in order to maybe keep the rooks on, because in this endgame, I think the rook will be better than the two pieces. Yeah. Because once the pieces start dropping off...
I doubt they will be better, but I mean, even then, you can always, like, as black...
I think black
you can always sack the rook for a pawn in the end. And if white has no pawns left, it's basically a draw.
I think black is pushing for a win here.
But now rook d8.
Oh.
He missed
but no, knight c6 was there.
What?
And you could have forked on e7 if you take the knight.
Oh, okay, that's wrong.
But I think black is winning.
You think black? Oh, okay.
I think black is winning because these knights aren't good.
Yeah.
That's a known thing that knights, when there's no rooks, and he's fixing the pawn on h3, he's gonna tag it.
I had a similar type of position with two knights against a rook and a pawn, or maybe two pawns in my game.
And we can see early if knight e5, king e6 links one of them.
Yeah. These knights are not very well coordinated.
But, however, there can be forks.
Yeah, do not play knight d6.
King here is not working. But now this pawn is gonna push.
Yeah, but also...
Okay, that one was hanging. But
yeah, but...
Definitely this is not what Dominik should have gone for. He definitely had something better there, I'm very sure. I think this is scary. And now it looks like...
What are you gonna do? h3 is hanging now.
Yeah. And we can see clearly that the knights are not... Oh, but he gives b6 in order to have it. But now if you can sacrifice a knight goes back.
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah, he locks the knight. I think the knight should have taken...
This is a very interesting position, though. Is this holdable as white?
I doubt it.
Okay, now the knight is basically just
trapped. The knight is in such a bad spot. And now king comes to e3. King has to go to f1.
Oh,
check.
It's like...
Oh!
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, yeah. Now you can just take the knight and this is... resign. It's like this theoretical draw position, except it's not even a draw because you have an extra pawn. So
there was also king g3 there.
I mean,
okay, yeah, there was also. Wow!
2-0. That was
brilliant.
That was brilliant.
That was brilliant. He's played so well so far. Where was all this in real time? That's the question. Where was all this? Should we flip the board? Yeah, we should. So
Aron actually had this in the second round of Wilton. He won in very nice fashion.
He took my advice and avoided the French. But he played a French in another way, so to speak. He has the French structure, but this is somewhat better because at least you.
I think I might have had this position actually once as white, which is really weird because I don't play this. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm confused. I feel like white should be good.
Yeah, this tends to be quite pleasant for white.
I mean, it feels like everything is going to open and this king is going to be stuck in the middle.
You always have to look out for queen h5, I guess. Not particularly like this current moment, maybe, but...
Right, queen h5 is a kind of a scary move. And also, if you take on e5, queen h5 is a really scary move.
Yeah.
Especially if you can get the bishop to d3.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, this center is not really stable. It is gonna fall apart at some point. Takes and knight to f6. Now basically he wants to get his king to safety. Yeah, he has to get a point. He has to draw at least, Dominik.
Yeah.
If he wants to have a chance here, because if he goes down 3-0, I don't think he's coming back. I really don't. I think Aron has played incredibly so far, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Dominik has played well also.
Yeah.
So, but Aron has just been on another level so far. And I kind of dislike the black position. What do you do here? Do you try to... How do you get this one out? Because
it's
B6...
kind of this like French bishop almost, even though he's played the Caro-Can.
That's not so weird. Like, you have the French pawn structure. But,
yeah.
B6 is kind of... he plays B6, but CD5, yeah, I was going to say that. And now, this move does not really make sense because you would have wanted this one maybe here. And you've given up the C6 square in the future. And this pawn on D5 is also just so weak. This is like a French, but you have... what's the word? Chronic weakness on D5.
Wait, can you move in a little bit?
Yeah.
Just so... Okay. Yeah, this... I mean... I would not want to be black here.
Yeah, me neither. Now bishop f6 is kind of a threat. A very, very serious threat.
Not even kind of. They're just kind of a... just a kind of...
It's not that much of a threat because c3 is hanging.
Yeah, but d5 is also hanging.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. So what do? You drop this one back, maybe.
Yeah.
And bishop goes d4. Just blocking this IQP.
And also putting pressure on b6, which can be a weakness. Like knight a4 might be an idea.
Yeah. We see that this move b6 is not really what you wanted to do, but I think there was very little choice in that position. And this is just unpleasant. This is just really, really unpleasant. How can you... do you have any suggestion for how white should break through?
White or black? I mean... Wait, take on d4, rook c4?
Yeah, but there's always queen d1.
Sure. But still, you're getting some sort of counterplay now.
Yeah, you should probably do that. You should probably do that. But still, I feel like this pawn is under pressure. And,
of course. Oh,
and it's just not good news for... Okay, that did happen. Queen d1 played also.
I would consider d4 here. You're removing this kind of d5 weakness and also pushing...
You gotta do that.
The good thing about this pawn is that it's technically a passed pawn, so although it's weak, you know, it might be a thing in the future.
Maybe you could also get those bishops off, try to pressure somewhere here.
I mean, it feels like black has kind of come out now.
I'm not sure. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, white still has a sort of advantage.
I would also consider queen d6, just preparing to dominate the c5. He goes knight e4, that's also very, very sensible. You gotta bring the pieces.
Well, what happens if you just take on a4 and then they
that's actually
queens and b6 is hanging?
Wait, that's maybe just a blunder, knight e4. It's a sensible move, but it loses the b6 pawn. But
he doesn't take it though.
Yeah, maybe he didn't see it, or maybe it didn't work. Who knows? Now the e4 pawn is hanging, but b5 is also hanging. So maybe Aron will support this one with a4. That seems like the most normal thing to do. You could consider bringing the queen in to h4 then. He sacrifices b5, but
then
there
queen
is
a4.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's a good idea. Maybe you could, however, respond to that with a move like bishop e8.
Oh yeah, bishop e8. That's interesting.
He does take it, and a4 played.
Oh.
Okay, that was much simpler.
Yeah, that was much smarter.
That's a bit unfortunate. And it looks like Dominik is gonna go down 3-0. I mean, it's not easy to play against someone who's...
Yeah, I mean, Aron is quite decent at chess, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think incredibly impressive what he's done so far, actually. Yeah, this is just winning, I think.
Yep.
He's gonna try to use this c pawn somehow to create counterplay.
I mean, you could be scared here.
We've seen comebacks.
We've seen comebacks from way worse positions than this.
We've seen comebacks from every single position.
Yeah.
We've seen comebacks, but he has a minute up on the clock, no back rank. The pawn is stopped on c4. You will probably put your rook behind it, but
But if you
And
win
now
this
the
a4 pawn and defend c4 at the same time, maybe you have some chances. Who knows?
it feels it doesn't feel like that at all. I think bishop takes a4. You gotta okay.
So he just goes all out.
He gives
to-
this one. He wants to use the c pawn. I mean,
that's sensible.
his dream is to play c2 and then he wants rook d8.
But what if you just play rook c3 here? What are you gonna do? I mean, you can't.
Yeah, I mean
pawn.
that's probably the best way to play because this pawn is basically falling. So you would have to play rook a8 like that. Rook c3 is very sensible, even though I assume taking on a5 might work as well.
But like when you play rook c3,
Rook c3 is
black
very
has
safe.
to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
rook a8 anyway, or take on a4.
Okay, that's true. He could take this and now he keeps this pawn. That was actually kind of smart from Dominik.
Yeah.
Uh,
This position would have maybe been holdable if black had equal pawns on the king side, but even then, like, he's probably losing.
yeah, and also now Aron utilizes the rook on c3 and he just breaks through.
And now g5 is gonna be.
Fg is gonna be played. You should just perhaps. Okay, he takes with the rook anyways because there's
Why not?
yeah, the king is just gonna
Just go to d2 and then win.
yeah
Every time.
resignation. So 3-0.
Wow, 3-0. But that also happened in the Martyna game, you know? Just saying.
Was it 3-0?
It was 3-0. We don't have to switch, right?
Don't have to switch now. So yeah, incredibly well played from Aron so far.
So we have this again. Bishop b4, bishop d2, I guess. Unless he plays d5. Okay.
So he switches things.
So
up.
I've had this many times against Aron.
Yeah, you should know
play
something
queen
about
a4 here.
this.
He plays bishop b4, bishop d2, knight d5. Okay, so this is your variation, right? As white.
Yeah, I think I analyzed and
Yeah, it was knight c3 or something. And it's not that easy to play.
I think it's bishop d7.
Was it bishop d7? I thought it was like b6 or something weird like that.
No, I'm pretty sure it's bishop d7. And then I analyzed the move queen to b5.
Oh, yeah.
But he plays a6.
Because I remember we sat and looked at this in the analysis room during real time, right?
But this
But this is just an advantage for white, right?
No, because it hangs on b2.
Oh, but c6 is also hanging.
This is also hanging.
Oh.
I'm not sure. But maybe he's just saying that he wants to put actually
But also-
positionally.
Maybe he could have just defended b2. Maybe he could have like played rook b1 or something. How are you gonna defend c4?
Yeah.
Oh, d4 is hanging.
d4 is hanging, and also there was an option of. I mean, this is yeah, exactly. He's gonna push for e5. I think that's the key idea because if you're not able to get this bishop out, you're struggling. But if that one comes out, then black is just fine.
Yeah.
And I think queen d6 is an exceptional move because if you go knight e4, black is gonna be just on time to play queen b4, creating threats against both these pawns. And if you, for example, take a timeout to play b3, there's rook b4.
Yeah.
So this is just a very unpleasant move to face. Maybe what you could do is you could play knight e4, queen b4, and then you could follow that up with b3, just to try to protect this one, and then try to get the knight to c5.
That looks decent.
Yeah,
Maybe you can like go for them. Yeah.
I feel like, but knight e4. Another problem is maybe queen d5.
I was thinking queen d5 there mostly.
I would go
Like queen c. But
queen c2
c2 take on d4.
Ah, right. So knight e4, queen d5 is another issue. So maybe black is just about fine here. Rook d1 play, but this just gives this one up for very little, probably.
And also there's like rook b4 in between moves and stuff.
This one is gonna take. He's gonna take on b2 and then drop back to b4.
Yeah.
So and also knight e4 is. It always went with queen d5. After which, yeah, he just takes this. This could be a very short match. And the problem is if you go knight a4, the rook just keeps holding the tension on b5. I would assume. Yeah, exactly. He does get the knight on c5, which you want. But then I think he's gonna use this e5 break to try to get the bishop out. Although you gotta be careful because you are underdeveloped. So before you open up the position, you should be careful. And obviously, white is realistically not worse because he's, especially if you can get there, he plays e5.
You kind of have to do that, no? Because you can't take on e5. Obviously, you can't play d5. You can't do anything like that. And next move might just be, I don't know. You just take on d4.
You wanna next move is e takes d4, threatening this knight, and if the knight ever moves, bishop will go to e6, and that's advantage black, especially if you can get to d5 there.
Yes.
So we'll see how Dominik. I mean, the thing is, we've seen many matches in this tournament so far where one side has just played had some pretty bad moments, like played some pretty poor moves. But I feel for Dominik here because he's playing good chess, kind of.
Yeah.
And he's still getting crushed. Which is...
Well, I mean, Aron is really good, it seems. Queen takes d4, I'm guessing.
Queen takes d4 looks like, yeah.
Maybe it's unnecessary. Maybe you can just take with pawn or something.
He's thinking a little bit, but I think both of them should promise black better chances for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, it will always be. You're 2 pawns up. You might be asking why it's not completely over, but these pawns are not really good pawns. But the problem for white is white just doesn't have any pawns.
Yeah.
And the bishop is getting out, which is another problem. There would be one thing if you had that pawn barricaded and this bishop would have been just stuck, but the bishop is getting out to a fabulous square on f5, and maybe that's even what he's considering, making something like bishop f5, although that does run into e4. I'm not sure why he's
why is he pointing like he's calculating. I'm looking at his face cam. He has some really... Why is it doing? There is 20 seconds. Okay, it takes with the queen. Yeah, maybe he saw something that we didn't. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Queen takes d4 played. I just don't know how I would defend this with white. Rook d1, I suppose you want to go after that pawn, and if rook d8, you can play e3, rook d5, rook d4.
Or maybe you can just play knight b3 instead of e3, maybe. But like rook d1, rook d8,
rook d1, rook d8,
knight b3, and
knight b3,
you are one.
bishop g4, f3.
Yeah.
Or rook takes d4 was also there.
Oh, of course.
Rook d1.
Okay, so
rook d1 is the only thing I can... Unless he wants to start. But that makes no sense, you can just develop.
what happens if you play... Maybe you can just rook d1, rook d8, knight b3, and then just play c5 to get rid of the double pawns, and then after knight takes rook d5,
rook d8,
knight b3, c5.
You also should consider e3, but probably...
Rook d5 is fine, no? Or
he plays e3. He's gonna get a rook d5, he will take with the rook, and then you get this endgame where white is a pawn down, but these pawns are really weak. The knight is better than the bishop, but he plays simply f6. Yeah, that's just getting that better version. ED4 is not really a move.
f3 is interesting, preventing bishop g4. I think I like that. Yeah.
But you cannot bring the king anyways. You gotta take at some point, and
with the pawn or rook, I'm not sure.
With the pawn, it's just losing. With the rook, it's
probably still losing. But it takes with the pawn.
I wouldn't have taken with the pawn because rook and bishop. Okay, but yeah, I guess it means now they swap rooks anyways.
But isn't this a good drawing chances? If you play let's say a5 and fixating the pawn on a6.
The problem is f5 and the king would have entered.
Yeah, so now he's preventing f5,
yeah,
but
f5
can he really prevent f5? I'm not sure.
f5 is coming. f5.
You have to take an f5 and bishop takes.
If you take, bishop takes. Although there's a weakness here. Yeah, king f5
but now
makes
king
more
d5.
sense.
You have to go like you
Right,
can't even go
and the
king
pawn
E3.
is dropping king c4.
Not king c4, knight a5. I mean,
And you can go for the d4 pawn.
he goes back. No knight b3. Oh, never mind. He's going for the win.
No, but it makes sense. He wants to use that.
But now you can just take on g4. It's just over.
Yeah, this is really bad. And now he just even takes this with the bishop.
And the knight is trapped. Remember that. So
But
just
this pawn
go.
is- I mean, yeah, he's gonna push this pawn, and then he's gonna
Play bishop c2.
Yeah.
It's just.
sacrifice the bishop for the pawn. Oh, maybe he doesn't even have to do that now. But
Oh, he's
oh,
very-
actually,
Whoa!
this is
But you can still play c3, knight g6 takes, king takes c2, h2, c1. Oh, he's gonna play c3 now?
yeah, because you get the queen much earlier.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, but it's also fairly obvious, unfortunately for.
Okay, now it's over.
Oh, that's a brutal way to end things. Wow, so clinical.
Okay, so it's 4-0 right now. They still have to play at least one more game, but a draw is
So yeah,
fine
if
for us.
if Aron, who's playing with the white pieces, draws this game, then the match is over.
Yeah,
Have we seen a 5-0 victory so
yeah,
far?
we
in the
have.
tournament?
Right,
Jan against Greta, we saw that. And he goes back to the French, which does not feel like a good
92.
idea.
I haven't.
Yeah, this is the one
Oh,
with
I
the
didn't even know.
main This is a
Oh wait,
common
actually,
line.
I've played this. I do
You
not
want-
know this line.
You wanna play c3 and then f4. This is a common line, but I like what Dominik is doing here. This is a line which carries a lot of poison.
Yeah.
And you could go wrong with white, but the problem is I feel like Aron knows his stuff pretty well, especially in this line. Oh, they played a bunch of more moves.
Oh.
So
Still
I'm-
has 3 minutes and 10 seconds, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna avoid all those nasty traps. I think, for example, if you do take with the pawn here, which one might ask why not, then I think a bishop will come to d4, and you will take on e5, you will cast, and then you will sacrifice your rook on f3, and suddenly all of the pawns will drop. So that's why he went for this instead. And now Aron is thinking. So maybe he's surprised by this knight c5 move. But also Dominik played fairly quickly as well, so he also
Yeah.
knows more or less how he's supposed to play. This knight wants to reach the e4 square, the bishop is gonna go here. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, but you do hang that.
But is it really hanging?
e5. So I assume that's what he was calculating. Yeah, so he just does not go for that. Bishop e7. He wants to castle.
What happens if you play b4?
That is a very good question. But I think you're on knight e4 and you claim that this bishop is unprotected,
Yeah.
so...
He does go b4.
But knight e4?
I mean, you could.
but- Because you can't really make any great discoveries, so you would have
Yeah.
to...
Like, knight f5 isn't useful in any way, I'd say. So-
Okay, actually, yeah, knight f5 is very useful.
Oh,
Why would you not play
Oh,
that?
yeah,
Because
g7 is hanging.
is hanging.
Whoa. I was just thinking about e7, but.
I forgot that knight f5 was a move.
Whoa. Okay.
Then,
In that case, that's a bit dangerous.
then it's losing for black.
Is it?
Close. So
Probably.
if g7 drops, what's your king doing? Like,
I don't know.
knight f5 played.
Do you take on c3 here? Then play d4 or something? Oh, wait, you can take on c3,
That's-
queen takes b4?
That's what they were calculating. Knight c3. Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna make a mistake if I calculate this. Okay, so I'm expecting knight takes c3 because that's like the only way to not die.
You gotta try knight e6. And queen d2, queen b4 is a good point.
Okay, so it goes d4. That's also interesting. Kind of the same idea, except there's a pawn on c3 now. So
Wow. This just exploded. I'm way too tired to calculate this. But, I mean, the main problem is you can just take this back. Yeah?
but c3 is hanging though.
Alright. So you can definitely not do that.
I mean, you could probably, but
No, but if c3 drops, then b4 drops, and the king is
oops.
in big trouble.
Okay, yeah. This is strange. But what happens if you take on d4 with the other knight? Because then if you take on f5, you take with the other knight on f5. I don't know, man.
No, but that's a bad idea because then knight takes c3 and you get that what we were talking about but with the piece down. Like if you play knight d4, I take, you take, and I take on c3.
That's true. But then maybe there's like queen h5 stuff.
Wait, actually, so d4 is a brilliant way to generate counterplay. This is, I mean, I would maybe just take on g7 in that case.
I would take on g7 and just pray.
King f7. I mean, he has to do something like this. He has to generate counterplay. He has to win some games and get some momentum. Because obviously, playing normal chess, he recognizes that his chances are very slim.
Yeah.
Aron has already secured a point. He's already secured a tie, at least, and he only needs half a point from these next 4 games to just win the match. So obviously, the odds are not in Dominik's favor.
Yep.
So, but this is exactly what he has to do.
So he does take with this one. That's very interesting. So I'm expecting him to take on f5, I guess.
Maybe the players are just missing that knight takes c3 is a resource.
I don't know. Is that really a miss though? Because take on c3. What happens on? I mean, if you play queen h5, there's just g6, I guess.
Okay, yeah, but that's true. Queen h5 is a very interesting move.
Yeah.
Or a more interesting move is okay. Actually, it just wins because knight g7 first,
and then king f8,
and then queen to f3, and you win the queen. So he has maybe calculated this. Yeah, so he gives up the queen instead.
How much material do you have?
Not enough.
Whereas 2 pawns down for the 3 pieces against a queen. But still, that's kind of dangerous.
I mean, if you can organize your stuff.
Yeah, castle,
and
take
this
on
king
e5.
is incredibly weak.
Yeah, I mean, do not underestimate black's position here, I don't think. But maybe
now you bring the rook and you just give it up and you get 4 pieces.
Actually, that's very interesting.
I mean, I would go for rook d8 because you
might as well. Unless you can take on c3, I guess, but
he chooses to take on c3.
Maybe that's a bit risky though, because
oh
wait, b4 is hanging, so you can take on d3 and take on b4, and now suddenly you're not even.
But the knight on c3 is hanging.
But bishop.
Oh, you mean bishop takes b4.
But then castle. Yeah, and my king is really weak.
You need piece coordination. I feel like that's not the right way to go about things. I would be intrigued to
castle here.
It's not possible. I wanted to make some knight d4 work.
Yeah, but c3 is hanging.
I could go knight d4 now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, knight d4.
Queen b7.
But still, what happens on castle, bishop f5, knight d4?
Bishop h7, I thought.
Oh.
Takes on queen c3.
But then bishop because I was thinking about b4. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but.
And then you would win.
Yeah, that's the point. But I was thinking you'd take on c3 first, because there's no point on taking on h7. And then I thought queen takes c3.
Oh, right, that would have just won, because then also the knight was. So we lost connection quickly. It does look, however, like Aron is on his way towards winning the match. No matter what happens in this game, basically. But I like Dominik's try here. I mean, I think that's the theme he has played, but also he goes to knight c4 immediately. He has, I mean, the scoreline, it does reflect the level of play, but it doesn't mean that...
It doesn't mean that Dominik is better in a way, because he's played amazing.
Dominik has played, I mean, obviously worse than Aron, but still good chess. Although now that is...
Bishop b4.
But queen d4, and he targets the bishop. So it's not possible to make a discovery. Such accurate moves with so little time. Okay, so and queen d4 is just winning.
But then knight d5, okay, yeah, whatever. Wait, knight d2? Oh wait, maybe you can go just...
Yeah, you just move the king.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Aron has...
King is a bit unsafe, but...
No, but it's not really, because if there was a light square bishop, white would have been in big trouble, but...
Yeah.
The problem is now... The problem for black now is this king is just unsafe. And you start moving your king in, or you just start to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, now... Should just be winning for white.
Yeah, now it's looking... Yeah. It's looking really bad for...
This might be a 5-0. Wow. Impressive stuff.
And the most impressive part is that it's not a 5-0 because Dominik has played poorly. It's a 5-0 because Aron has just played outstanding. You really gotta say. I mean, yeah, I think he's played extremely, extremely well. Bishop g1 will maybe be tried. No, he goes back. We'll see if Dominik can, but the thing is, you can never win with black, and even if he holds a fortress, the match is just over.
Yep.
So definitely things are not looking great for. Obviously, Aaron wants to win, so he's gonna push this one.
I mean, who knows? Maybe like in the last match, maybe Aaron loses on time.
Yeah, that would be the only hope for Dominik. But the most sad thing is that there's just no winning chances. He's gonna push this pawn to h5.
Unless you somehow like... Oh, there's not a lot of time there.
Yeah, unless you listen.
If Aron makes like a horrible pre-move or something, who knows? But I don't see a reason to do that. Not in this increment. Okay, now queen takes d6. Very good move.
Yeah, now you're just moving this one down. And something is gonna have to be sacrificed for that pawn, which is gonna be... Now you can even move the queen down. Oh, and he's gonna take on d4.
Damn. I mean, this might be holdable.
No. There's no fortress here.
Yeah, but you also have to remember, it's not that easy to win with a queen against a rook, but he probably should be able to.
That's true, but the match, for the match, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because a draw is just as good for Aaron as a matter of fact.
But I think he wants to win 5-0, actually.
Yeah, obviously. Now it's getting a bit more tough.
But is it really that easy to win white here?
I think there's definitely no fortress, because I'm pretty sure the pawn is way too high up. If you had this pawn on b6, probably it could have been, but there's just... I just strongly doubt that this is
okay,
a fortress.
Yeah, now it's a problem, because now we have to push the pawn.
b4, then queen d5 is over.
Yeah.
So b4 loses a rook.
Okay, so yeah, I found it.
And that's that. And then he offers a draw.
Thanks for that.
Why would you? Okay, yeah. Okay, should we?
Well played.
Wait. Let me unmute this on Discord.
It's crazy.
Damn, nice draw for.
Yeah,
bro.
Thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, chess played perfectly is a draw after all. So
Yeah. No, it was a draw. This queen game. It's holdable, yeah.
Maybe, but not after the last move.
Yeah, okay. No, king b3 is already losing, I think, or I don't know, because if I can go queen a5 is a good chance. Maybe it's still not winning, but I think you should just pass with the rook, and that's that draw.
Yeah,
I actually think that you have to have the pawn on the
no, in the opening, I know bishop e7 is not a good move, and I have to take on c6. Just I'm pretty stupid, and I went for this because I thought it's good, and I was like d4 and no what.
I'm confused with you.
I mean, bishop e7. I don't know. I thought it was kind of okay. I didn't really remember what.
No, I know knight e4 is the line, and knight e4 bishop d3, and I didn't know more move. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't play this opening. I don't know.
I only played
once that one part of it.
I'm 6 years old. That's my first opening. I learned it was this.
All right. It's kind of unlucky, but what can you do?
No.
Oh gosh.
Thanks to your games.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Impressive display from Aaron there.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the matches.
Okay.
The result isn't great. What can you do?
Great turn. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.